Hello, and welcome to The Real Deal Reveal, a magical titty tour about teas, sleaze, and unpopular opinions in showgirl life and beyond. We are your MCs, Sweet D and Remy Martini. Please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Hi, Remy.
Hi, Dee.
What's
Dee-dee.
up, friend?
Oh,
happy spring. We're in season 2 of our podcast, episode 1, 2025.
Been so long.
It has been a while because we had to take a winter hibernation break.
Yeah, because life.
And then come out of it to discover the world's on fire.
So
about that.
So about that. Yeah, about that. What have you been up to? Besides for just taking a break.
Oh my God. I think everybody's just going through it. I think everybody is just going through it, myself included. I don't know if it's the planets being mad at us, if it's just the world. I don't know. But January to right now has been, putting it nicely, a shit show.
Yeah. An absolute shit show.
That's putting it nicely.
A fascist, racist, dictatorship shit show. Sorry. If there's people out there that don't agree with my opinion, they can surely beep off.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like it's been a lot. It's been a lot. And I feel like there are days where you just have to put on your big girl pants and be functional as best as you can, and
find the joy.
Go home and cry in your big pillow. Take a sleeping pill and do it all over again the next day.
I just get really high. That's how I cope. I find little pieces of joy, like me bitching with my friend,
Yeah, really, for real though. Like I was talking to my friend the other day and she was like, I choose joy, God damn it. And I was like, sometimes you really do have to actively choose joy and happiness, because what the fuck else are you going to do? Like, honestly.
Well, and if you go the opposite direction, then for all practical purposes, they're fucking winning, because that's what they want. They want us to go hide in our caves and yeah. So, but yeah, on that subject.
What are we talking about today?
What are we talking about today, Dee?
Coming in hot. We're coming in hot on episode 1.
Hot. Like this is it.
We're talking about misogyny in entertainment, pretty much.
Ooh.
Right? Like in general, but like also in entertainment. Burlesque is entertainment. Oh, you brought the fan out.
I didn't realize misogyny and entertainment.
Who would have thunk?
Paint me confused.
The reason we're talking about this today, coming in hot, is because you and I were talking about this just in general. Like we were just talking about it, and we noticed that a lot of our conversation was surrounding this topic, kind of accidentally, I guess. Yeah. And so we were like, you know what? No, this is good. We need to kind of expand and talk about this. So I brought it up because I think I said to you, did you see the Academy Awards where Adrian Brody like flung his gum at his wife or girlfriend? I'm not sure. And
what the fuck?
Yeah,
like in front of everybody. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and like I didn't watch it. This was the highlights I watched after, because I don't have cable and I didn't want to go out of my way to like try to live stream it. I was like, so I'll just catch the highlights later. And that was one of the big topics that was being talked about the next day on social media, was what he did. And I was like, what did he do? And they just kept showing that clip of he like got up and he literally like takes his gum out and flings it at his girlfriend, and she's like, and she like catches it like, oh my God, it's an honor. And I was like, excuse me? And I think I told you, I was like, I don't care who the fuck you are. Like, I don't care if this is your second, Academy. Like, don't throw your gum at me, sir.
Swallow it. You ask her to do all the fucking time.
Yeah. Oops. Yeah. Swallow it. Like, I don't know, but yeah. I was like, why? I don't know. Like, it just, I feel like there's a difference between like, oh shit, I have gum in my mouth. Ugh, and like just not thinking in the moment of like, and then what he did was he like took it out and was like, here, like, I don't know. There's like, I feel like there's a difference when you're like caught off guard, like, oh shit, I've got gum in my mouth, or like, food in my mouth or something. And what he did.
She dove for that shit. That's where I was like, ooh, like
it wasn't cute.
Like,
it wasn't cute.
It wasn't cute. And seeing that we were just talking about this movie before we got on here, it reminded me of the woman that he's Eddie Murphy's betrothed to on Coming to America. Whatever you want, her.
Oh yeah, whatever you like.
Yeah, and like they were mocking it in the movie, but like, how are we going backwards in this? Right? How? And
and now that you said that, like that's something else I've noticed collectively on socials. I try not to be on socials a lot these days because it really just melts my brain. I really try to get on, kind of like catch some highlights, post some work stuff and get off because I just can't. It really does hurt my brain. But I've noticed something collectively. And I asked my friend this too, because she's not on social media. She like got off like a year ago. She's like, I can't stand it. But she still, is online and she reads, articles and newsletters, and she's on YouTube and stuff like that. But she got rid of her Facebook and her Instagram, and she's, she wasn't even on TikTok. And I was like, have you noticed lately this? Because I have, and I don't know if it's just me and like what's coming off on my feed, or if it's like collectively out there. But I've noticed that there's a surge in kind of promoting conservative women. You know what I mean? Like submissive, wifey, conservatively dressed, conservative, like the way you carry yourself needs to be a certain way to attract men. I'm like, why is this on my feed?
Right.
I was like, why? What did I click on accidentally that this has been coming on my feed? And the first thing that rang the bells for me was an ad came across my page with Gwen Stefani promoting a prayer app. Like a prayer app. And she looked like a Stepford wife, in my opinion. She just looked very, you know what I mean? And I was like, what the fuck is this? And after that ad, I just started noticing it more. And I didn't know if it was me just noticing or if it really was that type of content that was coming across my feed. And I've just been noticing a lot lately. And I was like, what is happening right now? Like everything from like, you need to dress a certain way, act a certain way to attract a man, to the whole like shaming women that are child-free by choice. And they really need to, have babies and do all that stuff. And, more content where it's like giving men passes on things like parenting. Like this guy got on a complaint like, why should I know the pediatrician's name of my children? Like, what? Like, what? So like, it's just been really bothering me lately because this is a lot of stuff that's coming across my feed. And I was like, is this like a slow leak into our social media where they're trying to get us to come to the dark side? You know what I mean?
What social media is going to be used for now, like, is to spread serious propaganda, right? Mm-hmm. So that is crazy that you're seeing that. I think the first time I was getting scared about shit was when in Texas we were having reproductive rights taken away, and the younger generation of women didn't give a fuck. And it's like, you don't understand what our ancestors, our mom, like as recent as mothers, aunts, grandmothers fought to have what we do have. But then when I would see women that would act, they're all fucking terrible. when I see women support Trump, who is a rapist, who has, and nobody wants to talk about how he has, has rape charges. Mm-hmm. He has assaulted underage women. And these women are at fucking Mar-a-Lago talking about how handsome he is. And it's like, how much money were you fucking paid? And the fact that you would do that to your fellow gender kind or whatever, your fellow woman kind. Like, but yeah, I feel like I see, especially in America, this degression of
right, yeah,
wanted as women. And yeah, no, misogyny. And so you brought that up, and then I recently watched Blink Twice, which, trigger warning, is a very powerful moving movie in all aspects, but really touches on the fact of like men and the misogyny and wanting control of the situation. And it really good actors gave me really big icks, but the end was worth it. The end product of what that movie was about was completely worth it. But you know, all of the actors in there, hell, Christian Slater. I'm an 80s kid.
Christian Slater is in that movie. I have not seen it. I can't. Like, my nervous system wouldn't be able to handle it. But I know what it's about.
And Christian's always been a bad boy, right? And I'm not saying that he's played angels in his past, but, and then I always mess his name up because I'm horrible. Dyslexia is a bitch. Channing Tatum. Channing Tatum. Which, hubba, he's a cutie, but yeah, like big icks. But yeah, so talking about that and the fact that these actors had the balls to be in a movie like that. They read that script. They knew what that movie was about. And they're like, we are willing to take on this role because of what the message that movie's portraying, especially in this time of like all the P. Diddy shit coming out. And like, I never liked P. Diddy, not even as a fucking artist. And we've listened to hip hop our whole fucking lives. And I hated him. And I felt he always had something to do with fucking Biggie. But now you realize that this man was a literal, just as bad as Epstein, just as bad as Trump. All that shit's coming out where women felt, and we were just talking about how we've been conditioned to where just smile, stay sweet, don't stir the pot, boys will be boys, all of that bullshit.
It makes me sick. It really does make me sick.
Queasy, vomiting.
Yeah, because like I was just telling you that I came across a post of this really beautiful girl. She was posing like at the point of the boat. I forget what it's called, but like, like on this railing of the boat, the bow. Yeah. And, it looks at first glance, it looks like a cute couple. Like this guy is kind of pulling on her and she's like, oh, stop, but then you find out that it's some rando that crashed her photo. And I don't know why he's putting hands on her. I'm like, excuse me, sir. And she's nervous laughing. And everybody's like, why is she nervous? Well, they're like, why is she laughing? Like, it looks like she's enjoying it. And I'm like, because she's afraid that this random man is going to throw her overboard if she rejects his advances, which are extremely aggressive. Like, usually dudes come in with some lines, right? They try to buy you a drink. But no, this guy came in hot with his hands on her, like, immediately. Obviously, obviously I don't know the backstory. Like maybe they were talking earlier and he thought he was comfortable enough to do that. I don't know. But like the part that I saw, he just comes into the picture, starts grabbing her, pulling her. And she's obviously like, stop touching me, please. And it's in her nervous laughter. It's like, yeah, she's scared. That's what it comes like when people are like, well, why did you fucking stop right there? Stop right the fuck there. Like I would, like when I saw that clip, I was immediately reminded, I had a flashback of when I was 16 years old. I used to work at the mall. And I can't tell you the amount of times that I got hit on by older dudes, right? And I always had to tell them I had a boyfriend. That was my nervous laughter, right? Like, I have a boyfriend. Thank you. I have a boyfriend. And I didn't have a boyfriend. But that was my go-to, right? To tell them to leave me alone because I couldn't say those words at 16. But even if I had, it wouldn't have mattered, you know?
I'm a lesbian. And that
but
didn't
I feel
matter.
like that doesn't matter either.
It provokes them to try to, and it's just like, but yeah, and it comes from a place of privilege. If you're a woman and have never been put in that type of position, then you're coming from a place of privilege, because almost everybody that I have known has been put into that, and doesn't realize until later in life what has happened to them.
Right.
When they start working through. Right.
Yeah, I didn't know at the time that was like a defense mechanism, but I immediately, like, you know, upon an older man being like, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful," I was like, "Ugh," you know, like the wind got knocked out of me, and I didn't know what else to say. But thank you, like, gross. But it's like, again, there's that conditioning in our society. It's like, be polite, you know, be a lady, don't be rude or whatever. So it's like, this guy gave me the big ick, and I'm thanking him. The fuck?
This old TV guy just came up and told a 16-year-old that she looked real good or real cute or whatever, and it's like, no, bro, that is not.
Like, I remember I worked at Walgreens for a hot second, and I was 17. I was 17 years old, and I was working the front register, and this guy walks in to the left. The door was on the left. He walks in. I'm on the register, and he literally shouts. He stops. He walks in and he stops. And I remember, like, clear as day, he was wearing like a trucker hat. He had a mustache, a tank top, shorts, and flip-flops. And he walks in, and I looked up at him because the bell rings like every time the door opens. And I just looked up at him, and he looked at me, and he stops. And he goes, "My God," literally yells. And I was like, "Ooh," like I was startled. I was like, "Oh my God, what?" And he goes, "You're beautiful." And I just kind of went, "Oh, okay." And he stared at me. He, like, didn't go anywhere. Like, people were going around him because they were walking in behind him. And he just stared at me. And then he, like, went and did his thing. And then and I was like, "Oh my God, I don't want to check this guy out. I do not want to check this guy out." But I was the only one on register. So he comes over to me, and I'm, like, trying not to make eye contact, and I'm trying to ring him up, and he's just like, wow. And I'm just like, ugh, like, and I was like, just trying to get his stuff in the bag, like, as fast as possible. And I was just like, "Okay, bye, you know, thank you, bye." And he just lingered, and it was just, I just remember feeling gross. And I was like, we're always the one that's left feeling gross.
Right.
You know, it's like, I'm just here minding my fucking business behind the cash register, and now I feel gross. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
One of the ones that really fucking scarred me, you know, I was 20-something, young, mid-20-something, working in a call center, went to KFC for lunch, and there was this old guy sitting like, I was in line to order my food, and he was sitting across the fucking KFC, and, you know, makes some smacking noises, and then talks about something about that ass. Oh, no. This is my fat girl experience, right? So let's just say KFC, because I like fried chicken. And maybe that's how come I don't really eat KFC anymore. But he had, like, these wings that he literally, and I'm telling you, I wasn't the only one in the fucking, there were grown-ass men and women sitting in there for their lunch breaks. This man is literally verbally, like, trying to sexually assault me and showing me what he could do to a chicken wing.
Ugh, I'm, like, literally getting sick. My stomach is churning.
And fucking sucks it. And first off, sucking noises do not turn me on. Like, that part of the pornos, I fast forward. I'm like, sucking, gagging, do not turn me on. So you sucking that meat off that fucking wing is literally causing me to become the fucking Sierra. You're making me fucking uncomfortable. I'm not even fucking acknowledging you at all. Not acknowledging it to you at all, because that's like, I'm like, oh, nope. Like, I turned him the first time, he started it, and I'm like, yeah, no. So he's over there sucking that wing, and all these people are allowing it to happen. No one's saying anything about, hey, dude, obviously she doesn't want you fucking advancing on her. I ordered my fucking chicken to get the fuck out of there. I'm like, dude, oh.
And
it makes
I'm
you
always
feel
curious as to what the end game is. Like, what are you supposed to do to that? Like, what are you supposed to do to that?
Like, oh, really? Really? Take me to... Yeah, do you even have a fucking car? Take me to the... yeah, like, take me to whatever, and yeah. Like, these men are so delusional that I can't help but to think that that's what they think the end game is going to be. Like, we're going to be like, oh, shit! I'm not that fucking desperate. I may be a fat girl, but I'm not that fucking desperate.
I really want to know what the end game is. I remember being in a Baskin Robbins with my mom. Okay, I think I was 15. And this guy comes up to me and he goes, this is his line. Are you ready for this? He asks me if I have a tall father. He literally leans over to me, over my left shoulder, and he goes, do you have a tall father? And I was like, what? And I like looked at him and I was like, yeah. And I like awkwardly moved away. And my mom goes, what the fuck did he say to you? And I was like, if I have a tall father? And my mom like looked over my shoulder and gave him the eye of like, you better get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
What? He had the balls to come up to me when my mom was right there. And like, what was that line? Like, what is your end game, sir?
Dirty.
What? It's, I can't even be flabbergasted anymore.
Well, and that's
insane.
The thing. So we're sitting here talking about that, and we're like, man, we really want to talk about that. How does it apply to burlesque? Because that's, the real deal reveal. We want, we like bitching and about shit, and how does this apply to burlesque? And then when we sat there and thought about it and talked about it, it applies a lot. There's a lot of it. A lot of ick out there. A lot of ick. Mm-hmm. Where partners are involved. And that's the thing. We're both happily married women to, well, mine's a hetero cis male. He loves a good titty and a good butt. If he's the only man that I know that bitches about having to go to burlesque shows or seems grumpy to be at burlesque shows. He just has bitchy resting face. If women are allowed to have it, he has bitchy resting face. It's the Aries in him. He can't fucking help it.
He can't fucking help it.
But yeah, he I feel like he's known as the grumpy guy at the fucking burlesque show. But I guarantee you, he treats everyone respectful. Everyone respect. Now, okay, he's a flirt. So he may have told you have a nice butt or nice legs, you personally, Dee. But as far as like respecting boundaries, he's not there to pull anything, and he's not there any like he treats everybody. Anyways, he treats everybody equally, as in he's a grumpy old man. But yeah, if he sees a woman that needs. Or not even a woman, if he sees someone that needs help carrying their bags, he'll offer, or whatever. Mm-hmm. And here, we're talking about
he's a show hubby.
He's a show hubby. But then you talk about some of these people, and they're like,
oh, I have come across partners of performers that were just atrocious. Like, you just did not want to be around them. They were rude, condescending. They were possessive.
Trying to make moves on
moves. Yeah. And it's always difficult when you bring your partner around other performers, because it's already on edge. It's already walking on eggshells to bring a guy into what is usually a a woman dominated space, usually. Right. Because they fucking did this. Like, they created this mess, right? Like, so unfortunately it's always like we're already like on edge, right? And so to bring your partner into this space it's always challenging to navigate, because immediately everybody's like, ooh, like on edge. And it really does take a special kind of partner to be in that space and not be a complete fucking asshole. And like I said, I've seen it a lot, like even to the point where the partners were heckling the other performers during a show.
Unacceptable.
Like, oh God, there's a couple of times I remember we were like, shut the fuck up. Like, get out of here, dude. Like, I can't remember if he actually got escorted out or almost did, but yeah. And then like, I remember like a couple of partners of some of the performers would pull my guy aside, Mr. Maxim, and like straight up ask him, like, how do you do this, man? How do you let her do this? And I'm like, let's get one thing straight and two things gay. He doesn't let me do anything. You know what I mean? Like, he does not let me, like, I do what I want. We have discussions about it, but like, no. I don't do that anymore. I don't do that. I did that with my boyfriends before I met Mr. Maxim, but I don't do that anymore. And
I feel Mr. Maxim Martini would have the same kind of response, because that's happened just at fucking dance clubs. And Mr. Martini doesn't dance, so I go on the dance floor and I dance, and he's had guys come up and it's like, how can your wife's over there dancing, your girl's over there dancing? He's like, laughs at their face. Like, he literally laughs at me. He's like, I can't control her. Do you see this bitch? Like, there's no controlling her. I'm not in this to control her.
Yeah.
I'm in this for that ass.
And it's like, for me personally, it took me a long time to get to that space where I was comfortable enough to be like, I do what I want, and you can't tell me what to do. And they would pull him aside and be like, how do you let her do this or whatever? Like, how do you get over that other people, AKA men, because that's what they mean, are looking at her like that, and he's saying kind of same thing. I don't want to say he laughs in their face, but he kind of chuckles and is like, I love it. He's like, I love that she's up there doing that. And, she gets to own her body and her space and her presence and her energy, and she gets to use it how the hell she wants to use it. And I love that. I love watching her do that. I love,
it's fuck.
Yeah, he's like, I love watching other people watch her. Like, it's hot for me, like, in that way, but it's also like, hell yeah, like, she's doing her thing, and I'm proud of that, And that's like an idea that a lot of these partners just don't understand. Like, they can't wrap their head around it. And I see it all the time still. I continue to see it. I can, it's like people will be like, well, where's your husband or where's your partner? And, performer will be like, oh, they don't like to come to the shows. You can already tell they're like kind of uncomfortable saying that, like making up these excuses for them, like, oh, they don't like to come to these, it's not their thing, and it's like, oh, you know what they're saying without saying it. And it's unfortunate that there's a lot of that goes around, Yeah,
no, I have a friend, I love her to death, and I think she's an awesome performer. And she got together with a guy and told him, I'm a burlesque performer. And he didn't realize what a burlesque performer was. I think he probably went and Googled it and came up with the burlesque movie and was like, oh, yeah, I can handle that. Well, then later on finds out, like, cannot handle it. But, yeah, went to a show with them, and I had the pleasure of sitting next to him, and we're talking like it was a very good production. The performers on stage were fucking amazing. The costumes were amazing, and the whole time, you know how I am during a show. I'm not gonna fucking talk, but occasionally I'll be like, hey, check it out. Look at that ass. How I am. And so doing that and hitting a brick wall, and this guy looked like he was fucking miserable, and me and Mr. Martini talked about it afterwards, and I'm like, yeah, I can't help but to judge somebody that doesn't like ass or tits or
or just the
beauty this.
Yeah, beauty. Like in all of its forms, you know, like there's so much happening at a burlesque show. Something has to catch your eye as like, whoa, you know? And yeah, you do have those people sitting there with this mean mug face and you're like, I am so sorry. Am I bothering you with my boobies? Am I bothering you?
You remember that video that came out? Pearl posted it. I do believe it was Pearl. And someone was giving her stink face. Like, I think it was a chick was giving her stink face in the front row. And she came down in front of her. I do believe it was Pearl. And was just like, oh no, you're going to fucking watch me and you're going to fucking enjoy yourself. And I was just like, good for her.
Like, we're here to entertain. Like, are you not entertained? Like,
let me entertain you. That's all we want. Is just to bring a smile.
Yeah, that's all we want. Like, let's drop split in front of you and shake some tassels and
do a straight leg bend over, and you might see a something slip. I don't know. What about a
little slip?
You're seeing my titties and my ass.
A lip slip.
And the pussy. I try to pop the pussy. Right?
Somebody asked me the other day, they're like, how do you keep the lip from slipping?
Sometimes you can.
Sometimes you can. Oh my God.
But yeah, back to, you know, and that's just partners that are coming to the show.
To the shows or in the spaces, yeah.
But there are producers out there that will not book a certain type of body. Misogyny will not book a certain kind of performer unless it's, and then again, that's their God damn it, prerogative. That's their prerogative, right? As a producer, you can, whatever show you want to fucking produce. But I feel like as a community, we should be like, yeah, no, let's not do this. Let's not support misogyny. Yes, I'm all about supporting performers, and I understand that there are performers out there that their livelihood depends on them performing. So you're willing to like sell out your fellow man to support a person who has obviously been put out on blast. It's not just one. It's two. It's multiple throughout the years, because we were talking about it, and when we were sitting there thinking about it, we're like, oh, and there was this incident that was on Facebook. Oh, I love the social media. And then there's this incident. So people are put on blast, and then once again, just like our fucking politicians, they're not actually held accountable. Nothing happens. Like, there's not a few, but there's people that rally behind these people and support them for coming out and telling their story that they've had to deal with these fucking assholes. Mm-hmm. And they have the support of these people, but they're still out there producing shows.
Yeah.
I'm still out there watching performers that I think highly of, or that I used to, fucking performing for them. And it's like, why? Why would you do that? Are we that... Like, do you?
I don't know, because I have seen that too. I have seen like certain shows and productions and producers be put on blast, and then like maybe fast forward 6, 9, 12 months, and that same performer's performing for that same show, producer, production, whatever, and I get confused because I'm like, did I miss something? Did I swear this happened like a year ago. Was there a change in management? Was there, like, I don't know, like maybe I am missing something. But I always find that interesting too. I'm like, I swear this person was calling this person out, but now they're dancing, performing for them again. And you're right. Like, it is a hard call when you do depend on these shows for your livelihood, right? And I feel like that's just another position we're put in as women all the time. It doesn't even have to be burlesque, and in the workplace in general.
The feminine, right? It's like the masculine wants to fuck over the feminine all the fucking time. I feel like, no, just kidding. Yeah, not kidding.
And we're not trying to be man-hating, man-bashing or anything. It's just, this is something we've noticed in all of our years, 15 plus years of performing. Yeah. I mean, I've been doing burlesque for 15 years this year. Is that right? Yeah, 15 years. But I've been dancing since I've been performing since I was 9. And I have witnessed this my whole life, like my whole life, whether it was just witnessing it with somebody else or experiencing it myself. It's always been there, and it's just really fucked up.
It's fucked up because then you also have the male performers, right? That come in. You see it all the time. We have a group on Facebook. People are put on blast, and it's like we were talking about how it's almost by doing burlesque, this target is put on our back, right?
Yep.
Like, take my burlesque class, and I'm going to charge you lots of money for it. Or this guy is somewhat of a sexual predator, so he's going to take some classes at his local burlesque academy and then start joining burlesque shows and, go in and work his way through slowly but surely, or whatever. It happens, right?
It happens, yeah.
And it's like, good for him. We need to make it more fucking apparent. We need to put these people on blast more, and I love that we are, but yeah, like that's why we're talking about it. We're talking about that to make people aware that is an issue in this wonderful, sparkly community.
Yeah, like how do you, I guess, vet producers and performers and get all the info? And I don't know. It's difficult. It's difficult. And
communication.
Yeah, it is communication.
As a COO of a company, I'm
going to say that from now on. COO.
COO in the hell? But no, I tell my guys all the time, like, you aren't kids. You're not going to get in trouble. Okay, depends on what we're fucking talking about, right? Like, you start juggling fucking circular saws, you're going to fucking hear it from me. But, like, communication is fucking key. If you're going to be late, let me fucking know. Whatever. Or if we're going to be late for a job or whatever. You're going to piss off somebody more by not communicating. And I feel like it's not about pissing people off in this instance. It's more about communicate. We need to communicate. We need to create a space, because there's still spaces where performers don't feel comfortable coming forward about this. And that shouldn't be happening in this culture. This culture of all the cultures, that shouldn't be happening. But here we are dealing with it. And people aren't communicating about it. And it's not just men. There are women that are out there taking advantage of the community.
Oh, yeah. I hear things all the time about other performers. And again, like, you fast forward and said performer is still doing their thing. And I get genuinely confused because I'm like, I swear so-and-so told me this, that, and the other about this performer, but like you're kind of left confused because it's like, was it true? Was it true? Or was someone just talking out their ass? Was someone just trying to stir up trouble? Is that why we don't talk about it anymore? Is that why it's kind of got swept under the rug? Was it like, what is happening? And I feel like that happens a lot.
Right.
Which is dangerous. It can be dangerous because if we're just like letting it fizzle out or letting it get swept under the rug, and these performers and producers are continuing to be in these spaces, like,
we're creating a toxic environment, and an environment where people want to talk about it not being toxic, right? Or being safe spaces, or a community that promotes love and body acceptance and all of this stuff. We're allowing these people to come in and basically work against that, right? Working. So it's like one step forward, two steps back. We're not
and it's hard to navigate it in general because it is such a large community. I mean, burlesque is worldwide. And, people are doing different things in their different countries and different states and different cities. And each of those places have different laws and different unofficial laws. And,
they're treacherous seas, my friend.
Yeah. Like, how do you not necessarily control it, but how do you navigate it, on that big scale when, we can still communicate as much as possible, but there's still limited communication because, East Coast is different than the West Coast, and the South is handled differently than the North. And, people across the world do things differently there. And what's acceptable, what's out in the open, what's being talked about. You know what I mean? Like, that's really fucking hard to try to navigate. We can only do so much, via social media and that type of communication.
Shout out real quick to Burlesque Creepers, because I love that was created. And I love that we use that platform to call out these problematic fucking people.
I don't know about that group. That's a group on Facebook? I don't know about that group. There's a creeper Facebook? I don't know that.
I'm going to share it with you. You have to be approved, but yeah.
Oh, that's good. Are we talking like creepers, all like audience members and people to work with, or just producers, performers?
I think it's mostly producers, performers, and people on Facebook, friends. Because that's another thing I love, even though sometimes it's so many fucking notifications, my ADHD, my TISM, whatever you want to call it, it's like, all these notifications are fucking killing me. But like when people are like tagging me so I know what this motherfucker's saying. Yeah, no, I don't want you in my space. I don't want you. You don't get the privilege of seeing me or my life if that's how you are. Like, unfriend. And I become like, I don't. Yeah, again, I'm not about popularity contests. I feel like I've made that kind of clear because I've never fit in. I've always been the weirdo, mister. Strawberry. No, just kidding. But yeah, like, yeah, it is one of those things that I love the fact that we are putting people on blast for things that they're saying. I don't see, it was something that I said in our pre-recording conversation of like, I don't see how we can sit here and put, and I do it, right? Like, it's really sad to see legends make really derogatory anti-trans comment. Like, we will put legends on blast. Like, we will read them the Miranda rights all on social media where there's 450 comments on this one, like, really negative, shitty fucking comment. But then we don't hold these men accountable for how they're behaving at shows or with shows.
I think that goes back to the nervous laugh reaction.
Right.
Like, we're not doing that because we're fucking scared. We're scared of retaliation, right? Yeah. And these days, retaliation can come in so many different forms. And all it takes is one fucking guy to say something, online, and then it just kind of spirals from there. And then you're all of a sudden finding yourself doing damage control for something that you had no like part of, or like, you know what I mean? Like,
blaming's real, my friend. It's a knee-jerk reaction by everyone. It's like, why is she laughing? What have you never been put in that position? And if you haven't, that's a fucking place of privilege, because we've all been put, like, not just women, men are put in that position too.
And we continue to see it. Like, I swear, every couple of months somebody comes out and they're like, I really didn't want to say this, or I couldn't say this, or whatever. And it just sucks that we can't. Like, it's not as easy as it seems, right? To just call somebody out, because I don't know how they're doing it. And this kind of like goes back to like Diddy, like you were talking about earlier, how these guys get in these positions of power that they can do that, right? That they have some sort of power over certain people, how did they worm their way into that position? That you don't feel safe. Obviously someone like Diddy, decades, right, was getting away with this for decades, and people did know and people didn't say anything. And it's like, why didn't you? And it's because this guy put himself in this crazy position of power that he was able to get away with it, right, for so long. And that happens in the entertainment industry. I mean, look at Weinstein. Like, he was in this crazy position of power and people knew and didn't say anything. And the people that did come out were blacklisted. And that's another thing. Like, right there is a form of retaliation. Like, you say something and all of a sudden you're not booked anymore. You're seen as problematic. That rumor spreads that you're a problem to work with. And all of a sudden you're not getting jobs and gigs and bookings. And that happens in the burlesque space as well.
So often, to where people don't worry about it because they're like, well, shit, especially if it is their livelihood. Like, if I call this person out, that's that income that's dropped. Mm-hmm. And again, I know a solution to that besides we need more safer places, more places to perform. I don't know. I don't know. Or, unfortunately, change requires some serious actions, right? Yeah. To cause that. And that's why with everything going on right now, I'm like, really, the woo-woo in me is like, okay, well, we're on to the next chapter. Everything has to fall and crumble and burn before we can rise up with the phoenix from the flames. But, does that mean we all fucking protest and go, okay, well, somebody's like, okay, Bob Smith, this producer, is a piece of shit. He's treated, he's risked endangered people's lives. He's blackballed performers from coming to this venue and performing in these shows. He's done all this shitty shit. So then, I'm going to call him out and just be like, hey, they are, I hate to call them out because they're a main income for me. We do crowdfunding to go to burlesque festivals. Why not do crowdfunding so you don't have to fucking perform?
Yeah.
At Bob Smith's fucking burlesque bonanza. Now I'm going to become, oh God damn it.
That's going to be our new thing for everything. Bob Smith's burlesque bonanza.
Sorry, it comes naturally. That's going to be my new fucking drag king.
That's going to be our new thing. That's what any show we refer to from now on is Bob Smith's burlesque bonanza. Write it down.
Oh yeah. If I'm going to write it down, we're going to be like, what were we talking about? I don't know. We just go on rants and think people want to. Shit. Hopefully we're making something out of it, it's definitely cathartic being able to fucking talk about it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because these conversations happen all the time behind closed doors, obviously, but sometimes you just need to just let it out. And
breathe it in and let it out and release it.
Breathe it in, blow out the bullshit.
My God, if I start fucking producing again, I'm going to come up with a fucking...
Well, our first show is obviously Bob Smith's Burlesque Bonanza. Obviously.
Yeah.
What if this took off and people are like, who's Bob Smith? And then Bob Smith becomes this weird, secret. Life just takes, it just takes a life of its own. People start talking about Bob Smith, where he started, where he came from. And then 20 years from now, we're like, Bob Smith never existed. The truth comes out.
Like a Stanicki. Ricky Stanicki,
Ricky
right?
Stanicki.
On Bob Smith's burlesque bonanza. when we're trying to refrain from saying single out by name.
Oh my God.
God, that's a great movie. God, that's a good movie.
I cannot. Yeah, that was a lot funnier than I thought it was going to be.
The what's his name? The wrestler, the guy
John
who played
Cena.
John Cena. Yeah, his whole lounge act character in all of his fucking songs. I'm like, I love fucking covers. I love horrible covers. I love punny covers. And then we add dick into that and masturbating. It's everything my 10-year-old heart could ever fucking want.
Yeah, that was a lot funnier than I thought it was going to be.
Heart. I feel like I clarify that my 10-year-old sense of humor.
Oh my God. Anyways, what were we talking about? Bob Smith
Bonanza.
Bonanza.
We're like, whatever happened to that? Oh, let's go look. Oh no, because like I'm quick. I'm quick to like unfollow, unfucking friend. Like I don't have time for that shit. I really don't.
I also think it just we get nervous. I mean, I feel like we could talk about this for so long, but especially when you're newbie, you get nervous about like who you're accidentally burning bridges with, or like you're trying to remain on somebody's good side, and like you don't really know so and so in the community that well, or like you know what I mean, like you just get scared that you're accidentally getting yourself screwed for like bookings, right?
When all you want to do,
because like I was like, oh my God, like 10 years ago maybe, social media friends with a lot of performers, because I feel like that's what you do. It's like, oh, you're a performer, I'm a performer, like let's follow, whatever. And then you start what?
And then you meet them at a festival and you're like, why do you look so familiar? Have we met before? Oh no, we're just Facebook friends. Okay.
Oh yeah, we're Facebook friends. But yeah, and then maybe you like kind of see the content they're creating that really doesn't align with you, or like you do meet them at a festival and you're like, wow, you're not a great person in person or whatever it is. But you still remain social media connected, because I feel like that's just, as performers, it's like, that's how we get connections. That's how we book gigs. Like, this is how we, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like it gets to a certain point as as the years go on in performing, you're just like, I don't care who the hell you are. I can't be friends with you, social media contact with you anymore. Like I can't. Like, there were some times where I would mute people because some of their stuff, I was like, I cannot with you. And I was trying to give them grace. I was trying to show them empathy, like all the things. But it really did get to a point where I was like, I can't. Like, I cannot. And I was even telling you earlier that I came in contact with a performer that was so fucking rude to me. And I had been following them for a while. I thought, they were a great performer. I worked with them in a show one time, and they were just so ugly to me. And after that, I was like, all right, we're fucking done. Like, we're no longer Facebook friends, or we're no longer Instagram follows or whatever. I immediately unfollowed and got them out of my algorithm, because I was like, fuck, man, like, what the fuck is your problem? And I still don't know to this day, like, what her problem was with me. Literally met her once, was in this show, took a class from her, and just so ugly to me. And I was like, okay, like, fuck you then. And just unfollowed, so I think it does get to a point where you start feeling comfortable, like, not being connected with certain performers, producers, productions, things like that. And I think we need to get a little bit more comfortable with that. We all don't have to be connected, and especially when you see somebody's name come up multiple times, when it comes to being called out or whatever, taking a step back, being like, okay, I need a little bit more information. I need a little to do more research, because I keep seeing this person come up and people talking about them, or they're, claiming that they did this, that, and the other. Like, I need to find out what's going on. And then making that decision, like, do I want to keep in contact with this person, or do I want to cut ties, even though they're a big name or a big producer, or they pay good money, or like whatever. I think it's important to start getting comfortable with that.
Yeah. You know, it's, I don't know. I feel like it's a conversation across the board of constructive thinking, right? Like, for me, a lot of the producers, people that have gotten called out, I am lucky enough not to have been, employed by them or working with them. Or if I have, like, I got ick feelings from them almost immediately. Like, and again, I'm a nice person. I'm an adult, so I'm not going to treat somebody like shit just because I get ick feelings from them. But when stuff comes out, I'm like, well, that all makes sense now. Like, that makes sense. And, I, for so many years, did not trust that gut intuition and just kind of figured like, oh, well, I'm just not their cup of tea. But then I'm like, oh, well, thank goodness I'm not. Thank goodness I didn't have to put up with that shit. Thank goodness, but, thank goodness.
Thank God the universe had my back.
Yeah.
I guess that's happened to me too. That's happened to me too, where I've gotten like rejected or not booked or whatever. And, it hurt my feelings. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then it comes out later that whatever the project or show or whatever was, like, a lot of shit was happening behind the scenes, or a lot of, and I was like, oh man, well, I guess thank you, universe, for, having my back on that one.
Thank you, childhood trauma and my empath ways for
hypervigilance.
Yeah. And again, this was, just something that we saw and we're like, yeah, we should talk about this because it is.
Like we've been seeing it for a while. We talk about it all the time. And it just, and like, okay, so we've talked about it like being in shows. We've talked about it being with or around performers, significant others. And I have seen it with my students. Like I've been teaching a really long time, a variety of dance styles. And I've been teaching burlesque for a really long time, and burlesque, I always call it burlesque adjacent classes, because I do teach, I do chair tease and I do sensual stretch and floor work. And like, they're all kind of rooted in this like sensual movement, which is, predominantly seen in burlesque. And I see it all the time with students, whether they say it straight from their mouths or I just see it in their body language and how they carry themselves, and how, again, that nervous laughter, right? Like, I'm like, hey, let's touch our leg here, or let's slap our butt here, or let's shake some titty here. And everybody's like, and they immediately try to hide themselves, right? They try to like, they roll their shoulders forward. They like, and I'm like, stick your chest out, roll those shoulders back. And it's like so hard for them. And I'm like, what is it? Like, why is this so difficult for, these students to kind of be in their bodies and be in their space? And it's fucking because of this misogynistic society we live in. And we're told to, cover up. We're told to be a lady. We're told to,
except for our men, right? Nobody else needs to see our beautiful body except for your man.
Oh yeah, except for your man. Your person. You're usually a man. But
no, I'm
yeah,
not, yeah.
And I see it. What?
Yeah. Well, yeah, partners, but a lot of times it's usually the male ego that's involved in that.
Yeah.
Like, my property, we're not chattel anymore.
And like, we're not supposed to own our sexy. Our sexy is supposed to be for other consumption. Right.
Right.
And I see it all the time. I see like all the time. And like, I had a student even tell me, I was like, well, what brings you to class? Like, how did you find us? Like, blah, blah, blah. And she straight up tells me that her husband told her that she wasn't sexy. Like her husband, she was like, oh yeah, my husband was like you're not really sexy enough, or like you're not sexy, or something like that, like something along those lines of like you need to be more sexy or more something. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna make him eat his words. Like I immediately was like, oh, he made a mistake. He just made a big mistake, you know.
Hump the floor. I'm telling you, hump good.
Whip those tits out. Like, and she was super sweet. She was super sweet, and I want to work with her more. And
the fucking audacity.
And seeing, you know, like just these basic little steps we were doing in class and these basic dance moves, and how, like, you know, she was uncomfortable, you know, moving this way. You know, oh my God, my cat is that my cat? Is that your cat? Is that my cat?
She's trying to be sexy. Like,
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can always see it too. Like I can always see that fire in them that they don't see yet. And like, that's what I try to bring out of them. Right. I'm like, give me that fire, bring it to the surface. Let's set some shit ablaze. And I could see it in her. I could see it in her, but like the way she was like, oh, like, you know, he said I wasn't sexy enough, or like, I don't like exude sexy. I was like, oh, he just fucked up. Like he just done fucked up, because he's not going to recognize you. Like when you find it, you know what I mean? Like when you find it, he's not gonna know what to do with it. And chances are he's probably going to get mad. Because they always do, right? They always get mad when, you know, that you do find that. Because I would, like with my relationship, like one of my exes, that was his problem. Like he hated that I was so comfortable in putting myself out there. Didn't matter if it was go-go dancing or salsa dancing. Didn't matter. Yeah. Like it was always such a problem. He wanted me to keep it all for him, right? He wanted me to humble myself or whatever. I don't know. But so I really hope she continues to come to classes, and we bring that out in her, because I love that as part of being a teacher. I love bringing that out and then seeing them set it on fire in the world. Like, because I've seen it. I've seen them bloom, right? I've seen them come in and they take classes, and then they keep coming back and they keep taking more classes. And then all of a sudden they're just like, I don't want to say they're a different person, because they're not. They're just the person they were always meant to be, right? It just finally came out, you know? And it's fucking amazing. It's an amazing thing to see. And whether or not they go on to become a performer or not, like, it's there now, and it's not going away. And that's like my favorite part. It's like they finally found it, and they're not going to lose it. And I've seen it still, like some of my former students from like 10 plus years ago, I still see them online and all the things they're doing, and I can still see it. I can still see that flame burning in them. And I'm like, fuck yes. Like, oh, you found it and you didn't let it go, you know? Yeah. And that's what I love, you know, doing with my students and helping them with that. And, but yeah, like that societal chokehold, you know, that's on us. Oh, it makes me, I get in arguments all the time with people, with my family, you know, with even friends, partners, or like friends. Like I remember getting into an argument with a friend's friend who was a girl, a woman, and she was like, I don't know how you can do that. That's so degrading. I'm like, it's degrading being confident in loving my body and doing what I want to with it. Yeah. Okay. If you say so. And she was so mad at me. Like she kept mean mugging me, and I was like, girl, what? Like, calm down.
How can you go here and speak to me that way when you obviously haven't brushed your fucking teeth, bitch? See, this is how I had to stop going out into public and stop really, because I can only be so
nice.
nice. Like it's really hard for me at this point in time, especially with something I love burlesque. Fucking love showing my fucking tits. I don't care if they're sagging to my fucking knees. Look at them. Look at these glorious fucking.
Look at them.
Titties. Look at them pink titties, as Chappelle would say.
Look at them.
Look at them. But I have and the older I get, the less tolerance I have for the bullshit. Because you know what? I may be a hot mess. I may be a fucking dumpster fire. My life is not that fucking bad. For me to like sit there and attack or even fucking give a fuck to where I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like, and a performer.
Who are you talking to? I'm Remy fucking Martini.
I'm Remy fucking Martini, and I'm Jenny fucking Smith. I'm the boss ass bitch. I refer
Bob
to
Smith
as,
of Bob Smith's Burlesque Bonanza. Fucking Bob Smith.
Oh my god. We need to have somebody do a voice. Or I guess I could do it. Burlesque Bonanza. Sunday. I feel like Bob
Sunday.
Yeah, it would be a Sunday kind of show.
Oh my god, are we gonna do this?
Somebody's gonna take this idea. I put it up.
Oh my god. No, it's ours. TM,
ours. Bob's
TM, ours. I licked it, so therefore it's ours.
Do you have a flag? If you don't have a flag, you don't have a country. Flag, no country. No flag. Sorry.
Oh man. But yeah, so it's just like I said, we could probably talk about this forever and ever and ever, but we probably need to start wrapping it up. How long have we been recording for? Okay, so we probably need to start wrapping it up. But yeah, so like it was kind of fresh on our minds, like when we started talking the other day. So we're like, yeah, let's talk about this and elaborate a little bit.
As usual, you can always come to us with your wonderful stories, opinions.
Stories, yeah.
Like, we are a safe space. We're not going to air it unless you want us to. But yeah, like, we noticed it and wanted to talk about it, right? We're like,
yeah, we went off. We went off the other day. So we're like, let's talk about this.
Well, and it's good to get off early, right? It's good to get off, so then you're not sitting there. Take it from someone that has that Taurian fucking Aries moon anger. I really have to take a step back before talking to some people sometimes because I'm like, man, I don't want to come out with that because, yeah, like,
you don't want to come in hot.
Don't want to come in hot, knives cutting people left and right. Like, I don't fucking care. Yeah, Aries moon is really hard to deal with sometimes because I'm like, this shit, just set it on fucking fire. I'm done with it. Set it on fucking fire.
I find myself saying that a lot lately. Like,
Tauruses and Scorpios get along so well because we like to set shit on fire. I don't know.
Pyromaniacs.
Pyromaniacs with Stassi. So I didn't pull a card.
You didn't?
Before.
Oh,
I didn't pull a card. So let's close it with the card reading, if you would like. Did you have any other final thoughts?
Close it out. No. But if you, because we're going to be doing story times throughout our podcasting.
We're still going to reach out. Timing, we tried to record with Susie. It didn't happen. Sorry, folks. With the holiday season and all of that fun stuff and all of our schedules,
But I still want to talk to Susie, though.
No, I want to bring Susie on. So
yeah.
I just wanted to touch on that because the last episode we were talking about bringing Susie on to interview with her, just pick her brain. Still want to do it, especially in this day and age and environment that we're living in. But yeah.
So we're hoping to have like some more guest speakers, and I'm trying to get my friend to come talk to us. She's a former pole champion and performer and instructor, and we often have a lot of the similar stories that kind of cross over from pole and burlesque. So I would like to bring her on to chat about stuff. She recently had a encounter the other day that really pissed her off, and I was like, "Oh, so you got Pretty Woman?" She was like, "I got fucking Pretty Woman."
Let's bring the guest on. You're interested in being a guest? Want to bullshit with us?
Yeah. So we're gonna have some more guests. We're gonna have story times. We got some plans. So if you want to send in stories for us to talk about, hot topics and stuff like that, you can email us at burleypodcast@gmail.com. BURLY podcast@gmail.com. We also have our Instagram that you can DM us at, which is just The Real Deal Reveal. That's such a mouthful, but it also rolls off the tongue nicely.
We're a mouthful.
We are a mouthful and a handful.
Jesus Christ. Also, we talked about doing movies that made us, nights where we're doing live movie watching,
I am excited about that, the movies that made us, because I talk about this all the time, about movies that I should not have been watching when I was younger, but totally was like, I want to do that. I want to do that too.
80s. Parents never thought we watched.
The very first movie that sticks out in my mind is Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Her show at the very end when she's like her showgirl and she's got her spider web behind her and she's twirling her little spider web tassels. I was like 9. I was like 8 or 9 when I saw that and being like, I want to do that. Like
10 or 11 when I saw that, and I was like, do they really do that? I went into
Yep.
I sprouted my boobs, and I was like, well, I have, because I sprouted a C cup over the summer, right? Like, it was horrible for me. Sprouted the C cup over summer. Rumors spread because no fucking girl could sprout a C cup, and I'm like, unless you're fucking German, a stout German woman, then you sprout a C cup over summer. But yeah, I was like, boobs can do that, and I remember running to my room and getting in front of the mirror and doing that and going, oh. You have no idea where to get tassels from. You can just see that your nipples are
yeah. I rewound that scene so many times and just be like mesmerized by it. And she did like the one shoulder twirl, and I was like, what is happening? Like Elvira. We have Jessica Rabbit. I think I was 8 or 9 when I saw her for the first time, and I was like, what? like Demi Moore in the movie Striptease. I was 16, I think, when that movie came out. Flashdance. All of these movies that I watched when I was younger, and just be like, I want to do that. Like, how can I do this? Yeah, I want to do this. I'm pretty sure my mom's kicking herself now for taking me to those movies, but whatever.
Did she listen to the podcast? You're like, sorry, Mom. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. You did this.
You did this to me.
So we have some plans. So hopefully we will get back on our recording track. And so you're gonna pull a card to close us out.
I pulled it.
It
is 5 of Wands, which wands are fire. It's passion, creativity, ego. Okay, so
ego.
5 of Wands is what the card deck that I'm reading from is the Fairy Wiccan Tarot. Can't find it anymore. Out of print. Been out of print for years. But a time of trial and difficulty.
Oh, and, you don't say. You don't fucking say.
An inability to stand up to hostile powers, a sense of powerlessness, acute insecurity, conflict around you. Change is required, friends. In order to keep this sense, we can't be feeling this way because then we let them fucking win. And we don't want them to win because I'm sorry, motherfuckers. We outnumber you. If we would just get our shit together and get together. Let's get together. Come on,
Let's
people.
get together.
Come on, together. Everybody. Sorry. The hippie came out.
Oh my gosh, that card is so fitting. That poll is so fitting.
And so it gives you like a little poem, and I'm going to read the poem. Time to dance with the fairy again. In and out of seasons and years, becoming one with the radiant light of the full power of your inner soul's delight. Fear not the dance of the heart, more true than the ego's flight. For in the end, when the tune dies still, the ancient ones will hold your love with them in the hollow hill. Which the hollow, it's all Irish fairy mythology and fairy magic, which a lot of people don't know about. But seeing that I am a fucking fairy,
I love it. I love it.
I loved it, and the fact that I pulled that, the card pulls are always very interesting.
Mm-hmm. It was very fitting.
Very fitting. But yeah, I have lots of wonderful old lady things to do. So we're gonna have I got one of the eye doctor. I gotta go get a new prescription. My eyes.
Oh yay! Getting older.
Getting older. Take your supplements. Oh,
take your supplements. Drink your water. PSA. Drink your water. Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated.
My show peeps.
Don't forget.
That's another thing we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about wellness. We're going to talk about showgirl wellness, performer wellness, things like that. So, yeah, we got a lot to talk about. All right, we're going to wrap it up. Do you remember our tagline, Remy?
Oh,
are you going to mess it up again?
Did you just tell me, am I going to mess it up again? Or are we going to mess it up again? Or is our timing going to be off? Like, yeah, if our dance timing was as off as our fucking tagline timing. Yeah.
Ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Take it easy. Sleazy.
Take it easy. And a little stripteasy.
All right. Messed it up again. All right, my friends.
And a little stripteasy, but it's just take it easy, sleazy
and a little stripteasy. Yeah.
I'm like a frat boy. Take it. Bad joke.
Bad joke. One of these days you'll get it, Remy.
Thanks. Probably not.
Okay, bye.